What is art? Art is known as the expression or the creativity, skills, and imagination that is usually known as visual forms such as paintings and sculptures. Art can come in different ways, such as sculptures, architectures, cinema or theater, paintings, and more. Knowing this, we will begin to talk about the evolution of art. The prehistory art is from 40,000 to 4000 BC. This era comes all the way back to the Paleolithic era, or also called the Stone Age era. In this period, there was art in rocks. People told history by painting inside the caves, and also by creating sculptures and stone arrangements. What people used to paint or sculpt were natural resources that the earth provided. It can be clay and also mud. The drawings were usually about hunting animals and the battles that Paleolithic people encountered. Medieval art is from 50,000 to 14,000. This era is known as the Dark Ages because there were a lot of struggles in the economy as well as cultural deterioration following the fall of the Roman Empire. What makes this period of art fascinating are the colors artists use, such as black, brown, dark blue, and gold to represent this period. The paintings from this period are characterized by brutal imagery. This period also brought the rise of Gothic literature and Gothic architecture, and during this period of time, the art was based on the church and biblical subjects and passages. A famous artist from this period was Giotto di Bonde. He was born in Italy. He brought religious antiquity and developed different ideas. He made religious pieces of art that usually completed a woman, taking the whole space of the canvas with no expression. The Renaissance focused more on nature and the thought that a man was self-independent as well as self-reliant. The Renaissance was characterized by realism, detail, and the study of human anatomy. Even though most of the ideas came from medieval time period, the majority took a higher look in the 15th and 16th century. In Italy, the Renaissance was a big topic thanks to the Medici family, who were a wealthy merchant family that supported art and also funded the invention of the piano and also opera. Some key innovators were Donatello, who made marble and wood sculptures, and also Filippo Bracciali, who discovered linear perspective and illusion of space. The high period of Renaissance influenced artists such as Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. Neoclassicism used elements from classical period due to the fact that there was an interest in the old art. Asian civilizations in Athens and Naples were discovered, and artists started to bring back the Asian art. Artists' interest in classical ideas of harmony grew, and this is why some artists were influenced by idealism. For example, Antonio Canova used elements from the classical era to build his marble sculptures. As the name suggests, this period of time focused on passion, emotions, and there were also ideas of intellect. This time period brought ranges of discipline from literature to music. The Romanticism era rejected harmony and order. These ideas were eventually from Neoclassicism, but Romanticism did not follow these rules. This era also had a love for nature, and because of this, many artists were brought to the light and decided to stop painting with dark colors. So colors such as royal purple to represent wealth, and brown for nature, and white for purity started to become more used for this era. A famous artist from this time was William Blake, who wrote romantic poems with themes such as good and evil and heaven and hell. Realism was the first modern art. It began in France in the 1840s. Realism happened thanks to the anti-romantic movement in Germany and the rise of journalism. Realism paintings were inspiring and capturing everyday life, and one of the most influential leaders was Gustave Courbet, who was a French artist and founding father of the political movement of realism art. Cubism was primarily established by the famous artist Pablo Picasso, who rejected the idea that art should copy nature. Picasso decided not to follow traditional techniques and perspectives, so he decided to create his own style with the help of George Braque, and they created fragment objects through abstraction. This is how Cubism was born. Surrealism emerged from the Dada art movement. Surrealism did not follow the idea of rationalist mindsets. Most people blame it because World War I and believe that it expressed the imaginative thought of those who experienced the war. Surrealism were influenced by Karl Marx, who had a theory that was influenced by Sigmund Freud, who explored the power of imagination. Pop art was one of the most recognizable art in the 20th century. Pop art did not follow the abstract expressionism and instead used the everyday objects to create innovative work of art that challenged mass media. Some famous pop artists were Andy Warhol and Roy Lichtenstein, who established the idea that art can be derived from any source and there is no hierarchy that can disrupt it. Once again, this concept of art rejects previous art movements and prefers ideas over visual components. The way artists create art is in the way of performances and ephemera, which are items that were not originally designed to be preserved, such as tickets from concerts, postcards, etc. A famous artist is Joseph Cossack, who was famous for creating the One at Three Chairs exhibition. This was famous because it represented three different meanings of the same object. This type of art had no distinct form or style. The decade of the 70s marked this period of art due to the fact that there were small movements such as feminist movement and styles such as graffiti and digital art that helped emerge this style of art. In conclusion, at the end of the day, we can all create art and we all have the potential to make something wonderful.